don't say what people are, say what people need.
That's good. That's good.
And so it's easy to just say an observation if someone's having a bad day.
Yeah.
It's easy to say the observation,
Yeah.
you know, you need to do better. And if you're a coach or something, there's a time and place for that. And if you're a person in an influencing situation, there may even be a time and place for that. But do they need to, is that what they need to hear in that moment?
Yeah.
They probably already know, you know, they're having trouble.
Yeah.
You know, usually if someone's having an issue, whether it's a performance, like performance at school or on the field or whatever, it's usually not a knowledge issue.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't know I was slacking off.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people are maybe ignorant about it.
Yeah.
You know, like they think they're giving 100% or whatever, and then it's like, oh, I'm really not. But some people, there's other things that you need to speak into.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you lift somebody up like that, even if they're, you know, being brought down, if you lift somebody up, it's going to make them want to step into that role. You know, an example would be last year I had 8 teachers throughout the year, but, you know, one teacher.
AB schedule, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. AB schedule.
That's a lot of names to remember. 8 names, good Lord.
Yeah. I mean, that's not too bad.
Oh, way to make me look like an idiot.
I mean, two of the teachers I had for already 2 years since I'm in piano. But the example that I think of is, you know, one of my teachers said to, you know, my mom at the open house, well, Michael's so mature because of this. And then one of my other teachers said, well, Michael's so mature and, you know, above, you know, the expectations. And so I saw, and when my mom told me that, she, you know, told me the teacher's name and like what class it was. And I noticed like I naturally wanted to be what they told me I was.
This is Generation Jazz Podcast.
Welcome to the show.
Episode 21.
Finally legal.
That's right. We're 21 episodes of age.
Yep.
Going strong.
That means that we can do it in a different place now.
That's right. We have moved out of the house.
Oh yeah. We're not looking back.
Probably not not necessarily permanently. Yeah, testing out some new equipment.
Yeah.
Got the mic stands. I think that's what you call these things. You're the musician. Mic stands.
Sure.
Is that the scientific name?
You know, I'm learning all the stage stuff. I mean, I can play the piano, but I have to.
Mic stands, okay.
I've got a lot to learn as far as that, so.
We'll roll with that.
And that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. And last time, so you were on episode 13, I think. The episode where you become a teenager.
And now I'm an official adult.
You've just seen this baby grow up.
Now I'm an official adult.
And when you came on the show last, you had just auditioned to play in a worship band.
That's right.
For a local church.
Yep.
It was really cool. And so since then, you've been a part of it.
Yeah.
2 months, I guess, right?
About 2 months, yep. And so in those 2 months, I played twice on Sundays, and tomorrow I'm actually playing for my 3rd time. So I'm excited about that. Oh, look, he's sticking on the sunglasses.
It's sunny out here, dude. I forget. We're outside.
You're facing away from the sun, too.
It's so bright.
I know. Yeah, so I mean, I'm excited for tomorrow.
That's a really cool role.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and we actually just got out rehearsal before we came here. Well, we went to Melvin's before we came here. But
right, got some $14 barbecue sandwiches.
$20 actually for me.
I just load up on sauce when I go to Melvin's too, dude. It's all about sauce.
Oh, it is. They got the secret golden sauce.
Yeah, I'll have to save up money though if I want to get a side.
Yeah.
I just got the basket. I want to get that sweet potato souffle.
God forbid if you want dessert.
That would have been
after
like
your
$22.
meal. Oh man.
We love some Melvin's though. We can't complain. We willingly went there, and it's a great establishment.
It is. Best barbecue in town.
Yeah. Or at least in the top 10.
Yeah. I would say it's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I wonder what they say in Texas where barbecue's king. They probably don't even know what Melvin's is.
Well, their barbecue is actually beef. Did you know that? It's not pulled pork.
You better watch your words on behalf of Texans listening.
Okay, I could be wrong.
I know nothing.
But I watched. I watched the show. I watched the show.
No hablo.
I watched the show. And
Texan can ask me no hablo. I'm not gonna talk bad about their barbecue.
I mean, I watched the show, and it said that they call barbecue beef. And I know up north, I had a cousin who's from Maryland, which is north, at least in my definition. And she was like, all right, we need to have a barbecue. And I was like, all right, just make sure you have the mustard sauce. And then we got into like a whole argument about what a barbecue is, because they call a cookout a barbecue.
Where was this again?
Maryland.
Okay. Yeah, when I went to Australia, they call it bobs or barbecue. They don't pronounce their R's. And everything in Australia that's like a cookout, like you said, or like burgers, is a barbecue.
I don't get that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're having a barbecue, there better be a pig on the grill.
They better update their dictionary for the word barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. So we celebrated with some barbecue today.
Yep.
You had a great rehearsal, and this morning we did a service project.
Oh, yeah.
Which, let's at least talk about it a little bit. It was a really cool thing. So
for sure.
One of our friends in church, by friends I mean someone older than me, someone who has who has kids who are in high school, in middle school, and his home got flooded with the recent hurricane. And I have a theory about the recent hurricane. So it definitely affected a lot of people. Like, this guy flooded his home, a foot or two of water. But I think the water companies and the gas companies just pay. I think they've got a contract with the meteorologist team. And you thought about being a meteorologist one day, so maybe you can come clean about some things. I think they just pay the Weather Channel to say, we're just gonna show this hurricane, just scare the fool out of a whole state, and then the next day just fix it.
There you go. Yeah.
So yeah, that hurricane wasn't nearly as bad. Irma wasn't nearly as bad here in Charleston as originally predicted, but did a service project. What were you working on today at his house?
So as you know, I only went there for about an hour and a half. Due to
it's an hour and a half more than most people.
Yeah, that's true. But
I just want to say, you and some other students who were serving, that's an awesome thing. A Saturday morning to give up your time.
Well, thank you.
And you get to learn some things. I mean, the guys there, like, even I'm a young buck compared to a lot of guys there. A lot of the guys there are like general contractors that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm just a YouTube star when it comes to like learning. I know how to learn from YouTube, and it's got me pretty far as home construction has gone.
Yeah.
But it's really cool to serve on a Saturday morning, 8 a.m. and help some people out. So that's awesome. But anyway,
I'm just flattered. Thank you, Kyle.
Back to what you're doing.
I mean, it's great for anybody. You know, no matter what your age. You know, if you're a teenager or if you're in your 20s, 30s, or whatever. You know, I mean, you should always be willing to help out other people.
I think there were some 14, 15-year-olds.
Oh yeah, they were. I mean, I thought they were even younger than that, like 12, 13, maybe even 11.
A couple young bucks there.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good age to start learning some stuff. But I mean, yeah.
It pays back, dude.
It does.
Tell you what, learning how to do construction and stuff, I'm such a DIYer.
Yeah.
Even though, like, I wouldn't want to do stuff like that for other people, to get paid for it necessarily. I mean, I'll serve and work under their direction, or I'll do it at my own home. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't do it professionally with the experience that I have. You probably shouldn't just watch a YouTube video and then like charge people to do services. So I definitely wouldn't tell people that are my age or students to, go on YouTube and learn how to do something and start thinking you're a professional. Yeah. But it's definitely something where you can learn and get comfortable. Yeah. To where one day you can fix up your own home or help your parents out or whatever. Definitely. You can charge your parents if you're a student. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. You can figure that out.
I mean, I learned how to tune a piano on YouTube, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm professional at all. Right. Like I don't tune my piano anymore. I just get a professional to do it, because I don't know everything about it. But just the other day, I had one of my keys, only one of them, go out of tune. So I mean, I know.
It's always that one.
I know.
Was it an important one?
Yeah, because I was soloing, and it's the F, the second F above middle C. So, yeah. So all you musicians out there, pianists out there, they understand that.
Yeah,
it's up there it's up there where I'm doing solos during jazz performances. So it's like every time that I hit that key, one of the three strings, because most keys on a piano has 3 strings, and they're all tuned to the same pitch per key, and one of the strings was a little bit flat, and so honestly I think the string needs to be replaced because it's not holding a tune. So,
dude, I hate when my strings don't do that, man.
I can tell.
Just gotta tell them, hold your tune. Instead of hold your tongue. Hold your tune.
Hold your tune. Hold your tune.
Except they don't know English. They're just like dogs.
I mean, I'm glad I don't have to tune that thing every day. Like back in a long, long time ago, you had to tune a piano pretty often, I think, at least like every other couple of days or so.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful with new technologies, our pianos only need tuning about twice a year, 3 times a year maybe.
Right. Right. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the service project, So
back to that.
Yeah, back to where did we start on that? About the service project. So what were you helping out with this morning?
So I was just, like I said, there for an hour and a half, so I didn't have too much time to give. But basically the whole time I just took out, because we were taking the bottom 2 feet of sheetrock. Yeah, sheetrock off, and so basically I just went around to every room and took out all the nails and the screws that were in the studs.
Yeah. So try to, maybe for young listeners who are like, what is sheetrock? I know nothing about homes. How would you describe sheetrock?
Well, I'm not a professional myself, but it's basically your wall. And
it's basically the wall.
Yeah, it's the
words,
wall. But it's and then behind that is your studs, which are like 2x4s, and
right.
I know you might have to help me out here. I'm just learning this stuff.
You know more than probably most people, and I'm no expert either. I mean,
yeah, but you tack basically.
Although people are like, oh, civil engineer, he knows everything. It's like, yeah, I know a lot about outside the building, but yeah, I mean, buildings basically made up of framing, and then the walls that you see are actually just panels of what we call sheetrock, which is basically
an inch thick?
I call it an inch. I think it's an inch. Or it could be gypsum board, which is just a little bit different material. Yeah. But it's basically panels, and then it's called mud it. They mud the seams, put some tape over, mud it, and then guys who are really good at they call it finishing. They finish it off. They sand all the seams down, and I had to do that when I had somebody install the lights in my home, the can lights. Yeah. They busted up holes in the ceiling. If I had an attic they could access, and they would just go through the attic and install them. But because I'm in a condo, they had to avoid the girders, I believe you call them, which are basically like studs basically run ground to ceiling, and girders run parallel like in the ceiling, which hold up the sheetrock for the ceiling. But I had to do some patching when they installed the can lights, because I didn't pay them to finish it, so I had to get some patches, and I had to get spackling, and I tell you what, there were like 10 holes in the ceiling, and I tell you what, I have okay shoulders for myself. I got sore shoulders when I was having to just like really sand down. Usually I have to put 3 coats of patching. But anyway, construction stuff. But anyway, to give imagery to maybe some listeners on what we were doing, we were cutting the bottom 2 feet of that sheetrock. So every wall in this home, they got flooded, because you can't just let it stay wet. After it gets flooded, the framing will deteriorate. So we had to cut all the sheetrock out that got ruined and let the framing dry and all that stuff. And the floors were already removed. So, dude, it looked a lot like my condo.
I remember that
for a while.
Bringing all those floors up.
Yeah, you helped me bring all the flooring up.
At least you weren't on the 3rd story.
Right, just the 2nd floor. 50 boxes of each one was probably about 30 pounds maybe or so. It was a good bit of weight that we carried up.
I did the same thing to your dad's house over the summer when I was working there.
Yeah. I'd say I might have motivated my dad a little bit to fix up one of his rental properties. Little 1,000 square foot property that he has.
Yeah. It's a nice little place on Folly Beach.
Yeah, you were helping him out a lot.
Yeah.
Which is great. You always got to keep improving stuff, man. I find it fun, and I know for young listeners, you aren't going to own a home, but you can at least start observing and learning. Like, I wish I'd learned more when I was younger, because eventually you're going to probably need to know a lot of this, unless you just want to pay a contractor to do everything for you all the time. But let me tell you, I'm a civil engineer, and I don't want to pay a contractor. I actually got a quote from a friend, well-respected contractor, to do some of the work. I got a quote for him to do all the work in my condo, and it would have been about 3 times the price that I paid.
Oh, man.
That I paid because I just paid for my materials and some tools that now I get to keep. But I didn't really pay for any labor whatsoever. So usually labor will be about what the cost of materials is. Yeah. So you at least double your costs. And if you hire a general contractor as opposed to hiring just subs, usually you're paying even more because they're managing the project. So it's timing involved. But anyway, I saw all that to say you learn a lot whenever you go serve. Yeah, like definitely. I think people can get intimidated by serving, or they think it's just a waste of time. But I mean, the value that you gain sometimes from serving. Oh yeah. Both from a knowledge standpoint, if it's something you're interested in, but also you feel good about it. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
And I mean, just in general, it's good to go and help out other people, when they need help.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I got to hand it to this guy. I mean, I mean, I'll keep the names, off the show, but this is the second time his home is flooded in the last year because they had Hurricane Matthew last year and then Irma this year. And that takes perseverance to keep and to have a family at the same time.
Yeah.
To just not let it get to you.
Yeah.
And I know some things probably, weigh on this family behind the scenes for sure.
Definitely.
If your home floods, I mean, twice, not to mention, but twice in one year. So
yeah.
That's really where you just got to lean on faith, family, friends, and all that stuff to just get you through it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of life's challenges.
I mean, I remember when I was in 3rd grade, our house got flooded because the upstairs bathroom, my parents' bathroom, one of the pipes leaked. I think it was the pipe going towards the toilet. It busted, and so there was just water everywhere in the bathroom, and so it rained through the ceiling into the downstairs area and just flooded the whole downstairs. So that bathroom had to be replaced. Stuff had to be replaced up there, and then also the whole bottom floor, carpet, hardwood floor, and then even I think the bottom foot of sheetrock and all that had to be taken out. And so, but the plus side of that is that we got to live on Folly Beach for 2 months.
Oh yeah,
that was very nice.
That's right. That's why I've heard that story.
Always looking for the positives and the negatives. So.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You being in 3rd grade, you probably just got to kind of ride the benefits a little bit.
Exactly.
But I'm sure, because I guess insurance helped, right? Is that kind of how?
Yeah. I mean, I remember it was just me and Dad home that day though when when it happened. So me and him, there was a window thankfully next to the toilet, so we just got buckets and we're shoveling
watering that grass.
Yeah, exactly. And luckily it was like the clean water too, not all the dirty, water.
Oh, that poo-poo water.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily sewer wasn't coming out.
Yeah, I know. That would have just sucked.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, it would take a lot for sewer to simply just back up.
Yeah.
Into a home. Well, it would take a clog, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think it would do what the pipe did, necessarily.
Yeah, you got pressure feeding that water system. Sewer.
It's draining, especially downwards.
Yeah, sewer in a home is not usually pressurized 90% of the time. You don't need to just force feed sewer down anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank goodness for gravity, man.
I know. Thank you.
Although as an engineer, they expect us to be magicians. It's like, all right, well, we're going to figure out how to make this water flow uphill. Because especially in this kind of a tangent, but doing site development, it's like eventually all the best sites are going to get taken. Like, it's a free-for-all. Basically, developers are always looking for the best sites, and eventually it's like really difficult sites are all that are left, more or less. So in a lot of cases, especially here in Charleston, that's all we deal with. So a difficult site is somewhere where you have to figure out how to make water flow uphill, like literally pressure. You just pay for a pump station or something, but there's always a solution somehow.
Definitely.
But yeah, so we had fun. We had fun serving.
That was a good time.
And I wish I had taken some pictures. I was so focused on what we were doing, I didn't even flash out my phone or take any pictures. We were just
laser focused.
Dude, we were just working on it, man. Super dusty.
Yeah, a little bit.
And taking out some of the installations. So.
Oh yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
Definitely.
So, but jumping a little bit to maybe personal development.
Okay.
So last time we talked, we talked about personal development and stuff.
Yeah.
And I know you've even attended a big seminar since then, which is really cool.
Definitely.
And I know you're reading some new books, or rereading some new book, or rereading old books. I don't know.
Rereading an old book.
Rereading books.
Rereading and reading new books.
They could be old books,
whatever.
Or they could be new books.
Yep, a little bit of both actually.
Yeah. And y'all talked about the seminar. Do you want to just breeze through a little bit maybe of the seminar that you went to?
Sure. So we went to the seminar and saw John C. Maxwell, which
John
is
C. Maxwell.
Your
I love
personal development hero.
He's the guru.
He's the
love
guru.
John Maxwell. I love how because on all of his books it says John C. Maxwell, and then you get in the habit of telling people about him.
Yeah.
And you say his middle initial. It's just kind of funny, I think.
Wait, what's so funny about it?
Saying his middle initial.
Why is that so funny?
Like John C. Maxwell.
Well, I don't get it. It's just John C. Maxwell.
I just call him J Max, man.
J Max, J Dog.
I don't know. Maybe at some point you can start like making nicknames for your favorite authors.
Yeah.
I still probably haven't read enough to where I should, but just call him J Max.
Yeah, that conference was awesome. I mean, it probably had about 5,000 people. This was up in Columbus, Ohio, and kind of a funny thing is the past 2 hurricanes that we've had, every weekend that they've come into town. We've already had planned trips because, last time when Matthew came in, we were in Louisville.
Yeah, we went to the Louisville Ironman.
Yep. And so this time, this was our planned trip to go up there and see John C. Maxwell in Columbus, Ohio. So we just left a few days early, and I thought I was going to have to miss a lot of school, but turns out I only missed one day because they canceled, for the rest of the week. So I was like, that's a plus. And, same thing when we went to Louisville the other year. So, yeah, we went up to Columbus, Ohio. That was a fun drive and ride up there.
Dude, so you went the reverse route of what most people do.
Yeah.
Because all them Ohioan people are coming down here to Charleston.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you...
So we went up there.
How was that reception? Were they like, gosh, why are there so many Charleston people coming? Or
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't. It
probably
wasn't
not.
Just,
They're probably not saying that. No, said nobody ever.
Yeah.
Why are there so many Charleston people coming to Ohio?
It wasn't that many Charleston people though. It was just people from all around the country coming.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I've lost a good bit of my Southern drawl. I had a pretty somewhat deep Southern drawl freshman and sophomore year of high school.
Southern drawl. What do you mean?
Like talking like this.
You think you've lost your Southern drawl?
A little bit. It's not like
from your Ohio trip or just in general?
Just in general.
Oh, okay.
Because I used to talk like this all the time, and I was real Southern.
Now, my name was Michael Root.
My name is Michael Root. I used to talk like this was really how I used to talk. But
and for my graduation party, all I want was barbecue and boiled peanuts.
That's right. I mean, that's how it was. But yeah, so I mean, I didn't have anyone really question me on where I was from, just by speaking to them. But I remember, back in freshman and sophomore year when I went to places, that were a little more northern, people would be like, man, where are you from? You got a deep Southern accent.
Dude, when I went to Australia for a month studying abroad in college, I don't think I have a very Southern accent, but they were blown away.
I mean, I know I got a little bit,
Everyone laughed at me.
Yeah.
I cried myself to sleep.
Oh, poor Kyle.
Every night. Yeah, no, and even just saying y'all.
Oh, yeah.
They were like thrown back.
Y'all.
I was like, that's the proper way to say it, man.
You all, or yous guys.
Yeah, yous guys.
I can't stand that. Sorry, y'all.
Yous guys.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah, sorry, y'all.
Sorry, yous guys. Yeah. Yeah, so we went up to Columbus, I think, Thursday through, we were going to stay till Monday. And I think me and my brother stayed till Monday, and my parents went back Sunday. Because on a side note, my sister got in a car wreck heading up there. Thankfully, she and my cousin are okay.
Yeah.
And recovering, but we kind of had to cut our trip a little bit short to go.
Right.
Make sure that she's okay.
Yeah, I'm really glad she's okay. That was pretty wild.
Yeah, it was definitely wild. But yeah, let's see. It was about a 3-day conference, I would say. John C. Maxwell spoke.
John C. Maxwell.
John Maxwell, Johnny Boy Maxwell. He spoke.
Johnny Boy.
He spoke on Saturday afternoon, and he says that you want more, and more before.
Drop the mic.
Drop the mic.
So
that's
expand
it.
On that. More, and more before.
That means,
what does that mean to you?
Think bigger and think faster and think now.
Okay. I like it.
I think me and my brother on the way up, we were listening to a little personal development book, the Millionaire Booklet by Grant Cardone. It's a little about that big, It's not that big. I mean, you could read it in half an hour. It's about 50 pages long. And he was just talking about how, a lot of people different people have different goals. So I'm not trying to bash that, but he was talking about how like some people just, barely nick by in life, and they maybe save up to their goals, but Grant Cardone and John C. Maxwell both talked about how, you should think bigger and you should think now and faster,
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I love that. And so transferring that maybe even more to what would resonate with people that are your age or in your grade. Or at least maybe starting, what sort of thoughts come to mind for you when they're like, think bigger.
Think bigger.
When you're a almost 18-year-old piano playing extraordinaire, personal development.
I mean, the biggest challenge that I've had, man, it's a lot of wind.
Yeah, getting a little wind action.
Yeah.
Okay. Feels good out here.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll just have to describe how good it feels. Like,
it's not too hot, it's not too cold.
It's just right.
Perfect. Yeah. I would say the biggest way that I've had to think bigger is, I've played piano for about 10 years. And honestly, until the past year, I have never even considered going towards the musician route or playing piano, just because I never thought that I could make it. I was limiting myself and my thoughts, and so I never even thought about it. I didn't really, I didn't let myself think about it just because I didn't think I could make it. But the past year, personal developing myself, I've realized, I need to think bigger. I can do whatever I put my mind to. So if I decide I want to, make piano work as a career, then, I need to decide that, and I need to think about what that means and then multiply it by 10.
Yeah.
The 10X rule.
Right. And that's a book, right?
Yeah, that's another book by Grant Cardone, same guy who wrote the Millionaire booklet.
Yeah, and I think there's some similar books with that similar name.
Yeah.
10X. Yeah. Because I want to say a guy named Mark Divine, Navy SEAL, might have written something like that. But I've read one or two of Mark Divine's books. Look more, but anyway, I love reading about Navy SEAL guys. Yeah. Mark Divine's one of them. Jocko Willink is another one. He has a podcast and all that stuff. But I love that, man. And obviously that's a slogan for the podcast, trying to get students to see for me at least, what I think of is seeing the amount of impact that maybe potentially small actions can be, and seeing the exponential results of them.
Yeah, definitely.
And seeing how your passion or your dream, on one hand, you may think it's just a small thing, but the level of impact that it could be, or that it, by faith you believe it will be, can be enormous.
Yeah.
And not settling for just going through life without goals, without dreams. And we've mentioned the 15 invaluable laws of growth on a couple of shows.
Yeah.
And the first law is the law of intentionality. And you have to be intentional about what you want to do and sort of happen to life instead of life happening to you.
Exactly.
And that's so big, but I understand it's really tough. And we're going to be getting into a little bit of expectations kind of behind the show. We talked about maybe trying to talk about that as a topic.
Yeah.
But one problem that I sort of see and can understand, resonate with students, is when the level is set so low where you don't expect students to do anything great, then they're probably just going to meet the expectation that you set for them.
Yeah.
And it's like school districts and like, what is the level of passing? Like, this makes our state look really bad when most of our students are failing.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just move what that failing number is instead of raising instead of maybe raising the bar, or raising those trying to meet the bar.
And that's what we've seen when they moved the point scale back down to 60 is now a D.
I think it'd be better. I think it'd be way better just have more people failing. And Tony Robbins talks about, he gets them from Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn was kind of one of his first mentors. You can find all these guys on YouTube, and talks about sort of metaphor of the garden. And if your garden has a lot of weeds, you can't just say there's no weeds, there's no weeds. You have to acknowledge that there's problems, there's things to address, and that should be exciting. It means there's work to be done.
Yeah.
If there's no work to be done, then there's no purpose to life.
Exactly.
And there's always going to be work to be done. In the schools, there's going to be work. There's going to be work that you need to do, and I don't just mean academic work, but leaving your mark on your school, and trying to change the culture. But it takes culture, and culture needs more than just one person. It needs a lot of people. Yeah, I think. But certainly it starts with just one. But going back to what you were saying, thinking bigger. To me, that's kind of what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure.
And vision obviously is a big thing.
Yeah.
So, and I know even in just the last 2 months, I know you've grown as a musician. Wouldn't you say? Which is pretty
a lot.
It's pretty neat, because at any moment you're on the verge of becoming something better.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 months ago, whatever experiences you've had as a musician or just simply as a person, going up to Ohio, had no idea your sister would get in a car wreck.
Yeah.
Thank goodness she's okay.
Definitely.
You never know that the turns and twists that life will have for you.
Yeah.
And the growth that hopefully will ensue from those experiences if you let it.
Yeah.
But I think it takes thinking bigger about it.
Yeah. And definitely in thinking about it too. Like you said, those experiences, many people, they don't look back on experiences and say, what can I learn from this? That's a big thing. It's, review your experiences and learn from them, and take what you learn and use it in the future. Right.
Yeah. And what do you think? Do you think it's possible, for people your age, let's say seniors in high school, juniors, seniors in high school, to make an impact
definitely
on their community?
Oh yeah, Oh yeah. I mean, I see it a lot in my school, mainly because to get the SOA diploma, the School of the Arts diploma, which is an optional thing, you have to do anywhere from 20 to 40 hours a year of community service work. And I mean, just in doing that, and 20 hours a year is not that much. 40 hours a year is not that much. But just seeing that, I've seen a lot of impact on the community, but I've even seen more impact on the people who are serving. Mm-hmm. So that's a big thing.
Yeah. Take that opportunity. And I know it's tough. Sometimes you just need to rack up the hours, and you just got to kind of find anything that you can. Mm-hmm. But taking it as an opportunity to expose yourself to either challenging situations or something where maybe you think this would be something you'd like to do again. Yeah. But let's try it out. Yeah. I had to do something similar because I went to a similar school here in Charleston in high school, and I'm trying to recount some of my serving things that I did. I can definitely recount, and I think I've told you. I mean, I was a part of the freshman orientation program every summer. Yep. So I racked up some hours there. I think I got like 15 or 20 hours because it was like a 2-day thing for like 7 or 8 hours, or maybe not that long, but it was a 2 or 3 day thing. And so as a sophomore, as a junior, I helped orient the freshmen to the school, freshman orientation. And it was so much fun. And that's maybe sort of the first mentoring type program that I did in a sense, because you were kind of like, you're like everybody's hero, and it's like scared 8th graders, coming to high school. Yeah, I mean, the first person they know, that's who they cling on to. That was a huge, and I think I somewhat recognized it, that was a huge point of influence you can make on a person's high school career, or whatever you want to call it. And I don't know if every school has something similar, has those opportunities, but that was a great opportunity, and so every year I did that pretty much. Where my strength was that I participated in that, and that was like a injection of influence. What I wasn't always good at was the follow-up, was during the year, am I following up with those freshmen when I'm a sophomore, when I'm a junior? And for sure there were students that could have been like my best friends. Yeah. If kind of best friends. They're still, a year or two younger, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't make a big difference. But where they could have been my best friends and I could have influenced them way longer than just that period of time. And certainly you'll still carry some influence just passively. People, it's kind of like sometimes there's always somebody seeing you and you don't see them. Yeah. Or vice versa, from afar. And certainly there's still that influence. But I definitely, going back to intentionality, I definitely could have made my time better to speak life into some of those other students as a sophomore, as a junior, where there's that natural hierarchy of people looking up to you. Yeah. And, now I have that opportunity in church in a sort of a formal role where I'm a small group leader, or just in church or in life when there's no formal role. And that's where the magic happens. Yeah. Especially when no one expects you to encourage them and then you say something. It can even just be small, like today at Brugger's Bagels. It's like 7 a.m. or something. It was pretty early going to this service project, and they were already getting tons of bagel orders. Like they're like working their tails off behind the counter, and it took them like 5 minutes just to take my order. Yeah. Kind of standing there, and it's totally fine. And I'm pretty patient in those situations these days. It doesn't bother me at all. Yeah. And so in the meantime, I'm talking to them. I'm like, big order already kind of thing, like just trying to carry on some conversation or whatever. I didn't say it in like a smart kind of way, but I also took the opportunity to say, really appreciate you guys hustling back there. A lot of people would just be going through the motions this early in the morning. And stuff like that, you can take the opportunity at the local coffee shop, sandwich shop, bagel shop. What other kind of shops are there?
McDonald's.
McDonald's shop, Target shop.
Yeah, I think that's big, honestly, because when you speak negative into somebody, and you may even not intentionally mean it, or may not mean it to go far, and I've done this a lot, but when you say something negative, that may just be the straw on their back that breaks them, and yeah. I mean, I say that because I've been on both sides of that. But when you speak positive into somebody, you may be the person who starts to take the straws off their back.
I like that.
Yeah. So I mean, I learned that lesson a few months ago. Just because I was not having a good, kind of a rough day situation, and just I mean, I can't remember what it was exactly, but I remember somebody, and I don't think they intentionally met it or, met it to go this far. It's just, when you have a day where, things are just constantly going bad, and then, somebody just says something, it kind of gets that, it just is that straw that breaks the camel's back. So
yeah. Yeah, I read, and I've taken this to heart. It's kind of rung with me for a little while now. The phrase was something along the lines of, don't say what people are, say what people need.
That's good. That's good.
And so it's easy to just say an observation if someone's having a bad day.
Yeah.
It's easy to say the observation,
Yeah.
You need to do better. And if you're a coach or something, there's a time and place for that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a person in an influencing situation, there may even be a time and place for that. But
Mm-hmm.
do they need to, is that what they need to hear in that moment?
Yeah.
They probably already know, they're having trouble.
Yeah.
Usually if someone's having an issue, whether it's a performance, like performance at school or on the field or whatever, it's usually not a knowledge issue.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
oh, I didn't know I was slacking off.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people are maybe ignorant about it.
Yeah.
Like they think they're giving 100% or whatever, and then it's like, oh, I'm really not.
Mm-hmm.
But some people, there's other things that you need to speak into.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you lift somebody up like that, even if they're being brought down, if you lift somebody up, it's going to make them want to step into that role. An example would be last year I had 8 teachers throughout the year, but one teacher.
AB schedule, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. AB schedule.
That's a lot of names to remember. 8 names, good Lord.
Yeah, I mean that's not too bad.
Way to make me look like an idiot.
I mean, two. I mean, two of the teachers I had for already 2 years since I'm in piano. But the example that I think of is, one of my teachers said to my mom at the open house, well, Michael's so mature because of this. And then one of my other teachers said, well, Michael's so mature and above the expectations, and so I saw, and when my mom told me that, she told me the teacher's name and like what class it was, and I noticed like I naturally wanted to be what they told me I was. Like in the class that they said I'm immature, like I naturally just wanted to goof off with my friends. And I mean I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of what I did all year.
Goofing off?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I always have that one class every year, but
I shall never goof off.
I noticed the other class, even if some of my friends were like goofing off, like I noticed that I'd naturally wanted to be more mature, because they spoke to me and said, or they didn't even speak directly to me. They used a third party, which was my parents, and they spoke them, and then they spoke to me. My parents told me that that's what they said, and so naturally I wanted to fill that position. And so when you can use that on other people, whether speaking directly to them or using like a third party, or speaking to somebody else who might pass it along to them, is speak what you want them to be. Tell them what you want them to be.
It's really good.
And they'll naturally step into that.
Yeah, that is huge. I really like that.
Yeah, I mean that's all straight from Frank O'Coin too, one of my good mentors.
Yeah, that's huge. And I've either read or heard something almost verbatim to that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I even heard it from Frank. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I think that's so huge. Speaking to almost a future state.
Yeah.
Of your friends or of people in school.
And that's what these personal developments teach you to tell yourself is,
it's all about future state.
Yeah, exactly. What you want in life, you say your goals in a way as if you've already had them, not I'm going to, but I already have achieved this goal. Mm-hmm. And that's how you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to have patience, then what?
You have patience.
Then you start speaking to yourself. You have patience because
Yeah.
The reality is you're more than likely, it's unless there's some kind of chemical, I would say you're more than likely capable of anything.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's all in the mind.
Yeah. I mean, there's no, some people have this, some people don't. It's just, and actually at preview day at SCU, which SCU is Seacoast campus for Southeastern Universities, and that's the college that I'm looking at going to. About 90% sure that I'm going to go there.
Yep, potentially next year.
But one of the classes that I got to sit in, they talked about different characteristics and how people, there's like 4 buckets of different characteristics, and I can't remember them off the top of my head. And you can apply this to anything, but basically you can choose what bucket you choose out of for that characteristic to use. it's just your choice. And naturally, you may choose out of bucket A versus bucket B, but everyone has the same choices. It's just, what choice do you make?
Yeah.
So I hope I kind of explained that in a way that's, understandable.
Yeah, no, that was good. I'm going to be honest. I got slightly mesmerized because the sun's hitting those biceps just right. You're looking swole, dude. Went to Walmart. I was we were kicking the football around. It's pretty warm.
Yeah.
And I had to go with the sleeves shirt. I'd keep the guns in the reins.
I'll be honest, that sun right now is hitting right.
Is it hitting you right there?
Right under the beam of my hat.
You got the hat going forward though, so you got that double eye protection.
Well, no, it's getting under so I'm gonna move my hat down.
you gotta
I'm moving
get that
my hat down. Sorry if y'all can't see my face.
This might be a good time anyway. We're probably over the halfway mark, so. Hooray for Patches O'Houlihan. Anyway, how did we get on that from ear monitors? Oh yeah, so you'll play at the main campus as soon as somebody.
As soon as Kyle takes out somebody.
I will. For the record, I love our band. I love all of you. So anyway, where are we going before the break? What were we talking about? Were we talking about expectations? Where do we leave off?
I'll let you take
All right,
this
expectations.
I'll let you take this one.
So let me ask you this. In your school, at least, and maybe you can speak about other schools too, do you feel like there's an expectation for students to be negative, positive, or just not even care about other students? Is there any expectation there?
About other students?
Yeah. Or is it normal, or would it be abnormal for other students to just like high five a stranger, or high five like a kid
it's not
that they would normally talk to?
I mean, honestly, it's a high school, and I think from what I've heard, other students is like, you have your groups of friends, and you don't really talk to anybody else outside of that group of friends.
Got your clique.
Yeah.
You call them cliques?
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, you can
I'm just
call
trying to
them
keep
cliques.
up with your language, man.
Whatever. I don't really know.
I'm trying to live in your.
I'm out of it.
I'm
so.
trying to live in your world, Michael Root. Yeah, right. You're above the clique.
I mean, you practically did a few years ago when you were sleeping at the house every day.
Sleeping at your house every day?
Yeah.
That wasn't every day.
No.
It was just during maybe my slight homeless stint that I might have bunked at y'all's place for a little bit.
We enjoyed it.
Few weekends.
I would say expectations at our school is kind of, I mean, I don't, I don't really talk to people that are outside of my clique. I mean, I kind of keep up with people who maybe were in my clique, or, we've been friends a couple of years ago, freshman or sophomore year. But, one thing that I've noticed is throughout high school, I've never sat like at the lunch table, because, like the lunch table is your big social time.
The lunchroom.
Yeah. So, I've never sat with like the same group for more than a year. And so we'll see how senior year goes. But, so like cliques have kind of changed a good bit for me. I've been through.
That's probably.
Yeah. I mean, I've been through a lot of
good
different.
Thing, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, some people may not like me so much anymore as they used to.
That happens.
Yeah. I mean, it's what high school is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 27 now. Barely 27. I'm basically still 26. And and I don't keep up with. I mean, maybe one person I'd say from 1 to 3 people from high school I somewhat keep up with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so wild. In my high school, just put in context, it probably had 600 total students, so I graduated with maybe like 120.
Yeah. I think we've got it's about the same for our high school.
Yeah. Your high school is about the same size.
Yep.
High schools with thousands. I don't know if that would add people that you would naturally keep up with over time.
I have no clue.
Kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, I have no clue, honestly, because I've never been to a school with more than 500-600 people, really.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's about every school that I've been to has been, 400 to 600 people. So.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. So back to expectations.
Yeah. Back to expectations. But I would love to see students I would love to give them permission, or hopefully have them give themselves permission to to stand out, you know, to and I don't even know what that looks like it's going to look different for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like as a musician in a musician school, do you feel like that makes it a lot more difficult to stand out in your piano playing skills?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll tell you, one of the most humbling experiences I had the other week, I had a sub in one of my classes, so I finished my work quickly and went to the piano room. And I met a freshman who's in the piano class. His name is JT. And we played a little bit. And I will tell you, the most humbling experience I had this year was, him playing jazz piano with me. And he is just shredding the piano. I mean, he is killing it on the piano.
Dude, I had that happen, not for piano, obviously. Had that happen when I think I don't remember if it was junior or senior year on the football team, but a really talented freshman came on.
Yeah.
And he got close to taking my spot. Not gonna lie, he had a good leg. He played soccer. I didn't play soccer. I just kicked.
Yeah.
Among other positions, because we were a very needy team at the time. So I filled in for kicker and punter. And this kid, he ended up not playing much football because he was more built for soccer anyway. And I think he had more of a future in soccer. But that little bit of stress, I call it stress, but it wasn't like pulling my hair out stress.
Yeah.
But positive stress definitely caused me to take, kicking a little bit more seriously, and I had to fight for my position, which ended up being good for the team.
We don't really have to fight for our positions in piano. Once we're in, we're kind of...
No one can take the chair from you?
I mean, unless you do something crazy to get expelled from the school, because we're not like an orchestra. We don't have chairs. Orchestra is very, the people in orchestra, they work hard to get first chair, second chair, and all that. But
there's no SOA orchestra?
No, there is.
There is?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, the orchestra at SOA is very, very competitive, but piano's separate. So, like, we don't have chairs or anything.
Oh, piano's separate. So there's no piano in the orchestra? Is that what you're saying?
If they perform, they'll probably have a pianist, but I think they usually have, like, a professional pianist or somebody else come in. I don't really know, honestly.
I gotta check out. I feel like I haven't been to one of your performances in a while.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the last time I went to one.
Probably the senior thesis that I accompanied with.
Well, yeah. But that wasn't necessarily your show, which that was awesome.
Thank you.
You being a part and you playing. So you played piano for at least one other student's senior thesis.
For a senior vocalist.
Which
senior
was
thesis.
them playing, 5 or 6 solo songs kind of thing?
Yeah, he sang 5 or 6 solo, different kind of songs, and I accompanied the more classical kind of opera style music, which was kind of funny because we didn't get to rehearse much. I think we rehearsed twice before that performance, and I learned like the very back page of one of the songs on the day of. Like, that was probably the most stressful performance I had, just because there was such short time to prepare for it, and so I was just kind of rushing to get those songs practiced.
I definitely didn't feel like you were stressed, so
it's the funniest thing because I'm still at the point where I go up, and even at the church services that I play at, I'm just nervous, and I'm like, but you just have to put on that face that you're not nervous. That's kind of part of being a musician, is that even if you're sweating on the inside, you just got to go up there and put your show face on and do it.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a huge point too, and so let's pause there, because you're willingly putting yourself into stressful situations in your own context. It's not like you're stressful, like literally physically, necessarily like you're going into battle or you're running a marathon. I mean, you could certainly have the potential to train for those kind of things, but you're putting yourself into just difficult, trying situations and excelling in them. I think, I mean, as a person who just goes to the performances, I don't get the feeling like you're nervous. And it's funny too, because that's the only way that you grow and get better, is to put yourself in those situations.
Exactly.
I can remember one of my first public speaking engagements, and now I kind of had a public speaking type thing arrangement the other week, and I mean, maybe I got a little bit, I didn't get super nervous, to be honest. I mean, it was just kind of not a big deal. And these podcasts definitely, I mean, this is public speaking, I guess, but it's not, to me, it's just not really, I don't get nervous at all about it. But I definitely could see that maybe I could get really nervous, or I wouldn't even have the guts to want to do such a thing had I not started in high school with just general presentations that you get, A, and then B, I had my, at my school we had a senior thesis, but it was not musical. It was I did a technical senior thesis, so I did research on physical laws pertaining to energy usage, and then had to defend my thesis, sort of my conclusion to my research and my project. And so it was like an hour-long presentation, speech type thing. And that was one of the first. There wasn't even an audience really. It was like 4 people judging me, and so there's pressure in that. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you get through it, and at the end of the day, it's probably not your last time doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's something you really just hate and you don't think there's going to be any value in you ever doing it again, that's fine. You don't have to do anything for the rest of your life or even a second time. But for most things, it's just a stepping stone to a better performance.
Yeah.
And so from there, my senior thesis that I gave when I was 18, when I was 19 at the Citadel, I remember I was studying. Still remember as a knob, whenever we were lining up, we had to line up, standing at attention. And then whenever we would, during exam period, we were allowed to study instead of do push-ups and that sort of thing. So I remember studying, and I remember for breakfast. At breakfast, I was studying for my AM exam, and then I had a flight to DC to defend my project that I wrote a summary and I got published. And I remember after lunch, I was studying my presentation, and then I hopped on a plane and went to DC, and I think I gave my presentation later that afternoon. It doesn't take long to get to DC on a plane, but I remember it's stepping stones, and that presentation I gave, my thesis I gave to 4 people. That presentation I gave to an auditorium type room. I mean, it could have fit probably 400 people.
Yeah.
There were probably 150 people there or something, 200 people. It was later in the day. Mm-hmm. And, but anyway, I say that to say, you put yourself in those situations, you never know. I mean, months ago, you probably didn't know you'd be performing piano to a theater full of people.
Yeah, I never.
Right? That's pretty. Yeah. Would you say is that some of the biggest audience? What's kind of the biggest audience you've done?
That's probably my biggest audience because on one weekend we probably see, I think, what do you think we see, 400 people? Maybe about that.
James on campus? Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, 400 people, maybe give or take some. So I mean, I've played other than that probably in groups of, actually no, I can't say that's not because freshman year we did a whole performance, the whole SOA.
But that was more people on stage too, right?
Yeah.
A lot more people than just
that was 6. So freshman year we had the whole theater packed at SOA, which holds about 700 people, and so the pianists got together and we did a quartet, which is 4 people on 2 pianos playing, and then we had dancers all around us on stage. So the pianos were in the middle of the stage, dancers around us. And so we played in front of about 700 people. So that was definitely my biggest performance. But honestly, I didn't get nervous about that just because, I was backstage the whole time. Then it came up to perform, and, the lights are shining on you and not the audience. So I couldn't see anybody out there except for the first maybe couple rows, So I wasn't – and also, I mean, I was playing with 3 other people. So, it wasn't like a solo thing.
Right.
So I wasn't too nervous for that. But that was definitely the biggest performance that I played. And then probably these Seacoast services, going through 400 people, in a morning, that's definitely the second largest crowd that I played in front of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, dude.
Thank you.
And, we as adult leaders and whatnot, I mean, we'll talk, and all the leaders of James Island, I mean, they love seeing you grow as a musician and working with you. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's probably no other students your age that are necessarily doing.
Well, Sean Powers actually, he plays guitar.
Is he playing guitar on the worship team
at West Campus?
Oh, West.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's
cool.
a few others. Yeah,
there's definitely other students. I mean, even at the main campus of church that we go to, I mean, there's students on the stage, and yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, all of them doing big things, and but it's all just trying to rise and grow and get better at your craft, and you never know where it'll take you. And like with singers, you definitely have more flexibility with singers. Sometimes you can just be a backup singer. No disrespect or anything, but I think there's sometimes the leads and then the backups, they're almost more visual, I think. Maybe you could not agree, but that's sort of how I see it in some cases. Because if you heard everyone's voice equally and there's 4 people singing, that's probably pretty difficult for it to sound good.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have 3 people singing harmony, but all I could tell you is if I had to get up there and sing, I don't know.
I definitely am not requesting. I'm definitely not requesting you to sing. That's not where I was going with that. But as a piano player, regardless, there's not like 2 keyboard players ever. I don't think.
But also, you're one player in the whole band. It's not just you. Even though I'm the only pianist, you know, I'm not doing a solo performance. You know, maybe I have a solo part in the song, and you know, there's been a couple times where I've had like a solo part in the song or a part that sticks out, and definitely that's kind of the more nerve-wracking part, especially when it's something that's more intensive. But I mean, overall, you know, you're part of a bigger band, so you know, you're just you're kind of in the bigger picture.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
You know, just you know, as the, you know, you're just kind of one instrument in the whole band. So
yeah.
I mean, I would say when I'm playing piano and doing like a solo piece, you know, usually when I do solo stuff, it's classical too. I'm a lot more nervous than I am at James Island, you know, playing with the band or playing with a jazz band or, you know, playing in front of 700 people with 4 other pianists. And, you know, I had experience playing cello and percussion in an orchestra and a band too. So, you know, playing those instruments, like I don't think I ever really got nervous playing, just because I'm in a group with 30 people, you know.
Definitely helps having that strength in numbers.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. But I mean, you know, in that kind of situation, you know, everyone holds their part, you know. You got to, just because you can kind of, you know, shy off on one part if you don't know it, you know, that's no excuse, really.
Yeah. That's awesome. That definitely helps too, man, having that team around you.
Yeah. It helps build you up, you know, because I know, like, first time I played a classical performance, I messed up, and I just, you know, it wasn't even like, I look back on videos and it wasn't even that big of a mess up. Like, it was just, you know, I paused for maybe a split second and then got back on it, but I was just like, on the inside, I was broken. Like, I got so mad at myself, and I was like, I think I was like, 10 years old at that time. But, you know, just when you're in a band, you know, and we kind of all lift each other up, and, you know, if one person kind of gets off, you know, we all help them get back on.
Right.
Yep.
Yes, big. Because there'll be so many people listening too that are part of a team.
Yeah.
And that's, you could be like the worst person on your team in any craft, but if you have a great attitude and you find maybe a different way to contribute to the team as opposed to being the captain or lead point gainer or whatever. Yeah. You could be the lead encourager. You know, I mean, you could make your mark in any way.
Definitely.
You know?
Definitely.
You know, people in the NBA and stuff, they a lot of times will get notoriety for the assists that they make or the rebounds. It's not necessarily just scoring.
Yeah.
And the same goes for being on any team, whether it's music or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
And at the Citadel, I still, as a small anecdote, the first week that we're there, and I think it's during Hell Week or at the end of Hell Week, we have to do parade for the first time. And it's funny how the first time you ever do parade is so different than, you know, just months later or years later at the Citadel. And parade is where the whole school, you know, goes in formation on a big field, and there's, you know, hundreds, some parades there's like thousands of people watching. And at first, you just, like, your first couple parades, you're like, oh, I better not mess up, which you better not mess up. Yeah. But you're like, oh, I better not mess up because everyone's looking at me when I mean, yeah, if you mess up terribly, it will make your area look bad, your company look bad, but you're still just one component. Yeah. You know, it's not like it's all about you. Yeah.
But what I can definitely attest to, like, when I'm playing in a band versus when I'm playing solo, like, when you're playing solo, you can just kind of feel everyone's looking at you, you know? And so if you mess up.
Kudos to you guys, man. Whenever y'all do your solos, yeah, sometimes I'm like, I hope you. I don't even care what it sounds like. I'm like, oh, I hope you feel good. You know, I hope you play well. Just yeah. I hope you hit your notes. I don't necessarily care. I think it'll sound good regardless.
Yeah, that's me too. When I'm you know, hearing other people play, I'm just like, you know, kind of crossing my fingers sometimes for them, because I'm like, right. I know how it feels when you just completely mess up or something like that, and it's just is not a good feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, as we wrap up, again, I try to give people opportunity. I already gave you're like a pro on the show. I already asked you one or two things last time that you want to speak into listeners, but is there anything else from your recent reading or anything that comes to mind that you'd like to speak into those listeners?
That's good. I would say, you know, just more and more before. Thanks to John C. Maxwell. You know, think bigger for your life, think faster. Always be looking for opportunities to grow, and always be coachable too in that. When somebody tells you something to do better, take it and run with it. So always,
I like that.
Yeah, and always be learning, and reaching out to other people and doing community service projects. See what you can learn from it.
Cool.
Definitely.
You got anything else for me as we wrap up?
Shout out to the James Island worship team.
Oh yeah, dude, you did way less shout outs this episode.
Well, I figured I got out most.
Who else can we shout out?
I got out most of my shout outs on the first episode.
Shout out everybody.
So if y'all haven't heard it, go listen to it so you can hear all my shout outs.
Episode 13.
Shout out Robbie and Chris and the leadership at James Island, Custom Fam, and finally shout out to Kyle Taylor for being a great friend, mentor, brother, and having me on the show.
All right, I'll send you your check in the mail.
I get paid for saying that.
Yeah. Once I actually have money that I can send, I'll buy you a smoothie or something.
I'll buy you a cookie tote.
Except I can no longer afford Sonic smoothies anymore, as we found out. They don't do half price smoothies.
It's very saddening.
Worst day of the year ever.
There's been about 5 times in the past month or so that I'm like, I want to go to Sonic, and I text some friends and I'm like, wait, there's not half price milkshakes. Forget it.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, that's honestly been my go-to. I'm like, if I'm gonna get a milkshake that's costing a little bit more, I'm going with high quality Chick-fil-A.
True that. And there's so many better options too. You always feel like Chick-fil-A is somewhat healthy, even though it probably isn't. But
just because their packaging is all white.
Right. Yeah. It's just a little.
That's
the store
psychology.
Feels clean. They have an indoor jump castle thing for kids. You just can't help but feel butterflies when you go there.
Yeah.
Anyway. Promoting some of our favorite
little
restaurants here. Well, cool, man. Did you want to shout out your feeds or anything? Do you want to be found anywhere?
Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat. I'm on there. Mike Root.
Mike Root's on there. Also, shout out for our Instagram page, Facebook page. Both of those are at Generation Giants Podcast.
Yeah.
Honestly, I changed the Facebook name like the other week because the Instagram was Generation Giants Podcast, and I just figured I'd make the Facebook match. So I don't know. All those millions of people who had bookmarks for at Generation Giants, all the bookmarks are no longer valid.
That's unfortunate.
I know, but now you know where to find it. It's on Twitter too. The full name wouldn't fit on Twitter, although I probably just did it wrong. But anyway, we're on Twitter too. You can look it up there. Subscribe on iTunes for all you Apple users, on Stitcher for all you Android users for the audio, and the videos on YouTube if you want to see. If you want to see Michael Root in the raging tank top. We should have done instead of 300 push-ups that we did before the episode, we should have done 600.
Yeah, that would have been helpful.
Would have looked beastly.
Should have done a little bit more throws with the football and the baseball.
Would have looked beastly. Yeah. Oh yeah, we did kind of get a workout with the football baseball thing. Almost forgot.
A little bit.
Sweet. That's about all the time we have, dude. Mike Root.
Awesome.
As always, it's been fun, man.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Now let's go find a milkshake or something to drink.
Oh, I'm down.
Sound good?
I'm down.
All right.
All right.
Dude. Signing off.
We were meant to live for so much more. Have we lost ourselves? Somewhere we live inside.
Bitters right now.
Yeah, dude. As long as the wind doesn't knock anything over.
I know.
Isn't it Family Guy where the old man's like, "Your lips look really pretty, young little boy"?
That's probably it.
You ever watch Family Guy?
No.
I don't either, but I used to. I used to watch a lot of Family Guy and South Park.
I can tell.
I'll take that in the best possible way.
I'll take that in the best.
Oh no, people can't handle that.
Look at Michael's biceps. The sun's shining on him so nicely. Ooh.
Good.
Ooh. I think
Boom.
we're perfect. Can
Dude,
you hear me?
Sturdy.
I can't hear me.
Like a tank.
I can't hear me. I needed to get some
I can't hear me.
headphones.
I can't hear me. It's such
Fearless.
fearless. We are fearless.